A staple of lists collating classic films from female directors, Ida Lupino's The Hitchhiker takes place in an ugly, sticky Southern Californian hell, distinct from how the region has been traditionally interpreted as idyllic retirement. William Talman portrays Emmett Myers, a robber, murderer, and our titular hitchhiker who takes hostage two men portrayed by Edmund O'Brien and Frank Lovejoy. The two hostages were driving to Mexico, which is also the intended destination of Myers. What I find most fascinating about The Hitchhiker is its visual dimension, captured by photographer Nicholas Musuraca, perhaps most noted for the iconic film noir textbook case study Out of the Past of 1947. It is the arid Southern California out of the frontier times, wiped of any indigenous inhabitants, free of settler warfare, now a rocky Styx between American order and the perceived hedonistic anarchy of Mexico. Of course, it is the American collaboration with and the subsequent cleverness of the Mexican authorities which leads to Myers' eventual climactic capture. Myers is a psychotic drifter, likely would have been tranquil as a stagecoach robber during the frontier times, a byproduct of Columbia's insistence of a manifest destiny, terrorizing the or any convenient locals of the Californian landscape for his own survival and amusement, or surely he might participate in the growing open sprawl of California's lauded cities. Suffering the consequences are two men also seeking an escape from the Fordist proposal of utopia from the Hollywood economy. It is inevitably tempting to theorize what a male director's handling of The Hitchhiker might have been versus Lupino's. There is only speculation versus any statements from Lupino herself, but I am immediately compelled to assume the film's emphasis on rabid male terror, really identifying the philosophy of intimidation, presumably, is originating from Lupino's potential status as a feminine outsider to masculine rage. To her, it is not expected genre wallpaper, it is dangerous and frightening. Though its subjected victims are men, Lupino's work recalls the occasionally forgotten feminist sympathy present in some facets of the designated second wave for male suffering and patriarchal bullying. The patriarchy is the machine of old men that sends young men to die in war. Germaine Greer once defined the apparatus as such to a television studio audience in the early to mid 2010s. But perhaps employing a feminist reading of The Hitchhiker is to project too much on Lupino's intent, although the film can also imprint the suggestion of a begrudging outsider to the film industry intent on demonstrating her admiration for a particular film form, the crime noir existential nightmare in this instance, and so she elevated the production which an assigned fellow mightn't have considered to. The production story of this film reveals The Hitchhiker was Lupino's fifth feature as the director. She had initially debuted when a picture she co-wrote and co-produced, 1949's Not Wanted, was in unexpected need of a replacement for Elmer Clifton shortly into the production itself. He had suffered a heart attack. Lupino at that time was partnered with her then-husband Collier Young at an independent film production unit titled The Filmmakers Inc., their goal to produce films focusing on what they deemed to be relevant social issues, and audaciously released films. Lupino directing pictures about polio in 1949's Never Fear, addressing rape in 1950's Outrage, and exploring bigamy in 1953's The Bigamist. The Hitchhiker represented what can be considered a fast-paced break from her prior dramas, displaying the psychological anguish which these two men must suffer at the hands, at the authoritative gun, of another. I once read an IMDb forum post claiming that Edmund O'Brien's performance in The Hitchhiker to be the best they'd ever seen. It is very, very good. One could surmise this film as alien observer depicting what they consider to be powering a criminal psyche, hypothetically distinct from a desensitized male relishing in stylized violence and bullying as genre exercise, although it may be closer to an artist requiring an aggressive, exhaustive release after hiking through the languid pathological maze of moral reflection. In any case, The Hitchhiker remains one of the finest of 1950s film noirs, a picture which takes seriously the ugliness and trauma of violent behavior, and even has us enjoying the satiating punching which Myers receives from Edmund O'Brien at the film's climax, only held back by the officers holding back Myers. Let's play fair, maybe? The Hitchhiker is in the public domain, and I would highly recommend anyone take this 17 minutes aside into their own life story. It will be a very exciting, thrilling memory, a powerful testament to Ida Lupino's artistic will. Nasty, base, and eloquent, The Hitchhiker is frightening, pulpy enthrallment.